Here with a very special guest. I'm pleased to have with me here, all the way in Ontario, Canada, Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. We're here with R&B artist Geneva Lei.
Hi, everybody. Excited to be here. Nice to meet you too. Oh my God, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry. I'm doing okay. Dealing with the release of Tell Me. Very excited and very blessed to be here on the show and just being able to talk about myself is always a great thing and always a blessing that people even care about what I do as an artist. So thank you for having me on the show.
The single came out in April. Let's talk about your new release.
A beautiful song that came from a session between me, my friend Mamek, and my friend Slim. We just wanted to work together on something, and we came out with this a very fun and bouncy track called Tell Me. Mamek helped me out with a few melodies on the song, so I'm very blessed for that. Tell Me really started off because I was in a very long situationship with a man, and he was selling me dreams and he was telling me what I wanted to hear and told me that there's maybe a chance for us to work out and I should just hold on a little bit more just to find out that it was never gonna get to the place where I wanted us to be at. Um so yeah, I just took my own experience and I put it into the beautiful instrumental that we made, me, Memic, and Slim, and here we are talking about it and it's been a cool release so far.
In, the creativity and, from the inspiration of Tell Me, what really sparked that song to happen? What was it about that relationship?
We had our closure talk. It is what it is. We're two happy individuals that are single and just moving on from the situation, and I respect them as an individual. And I got to say my piece, and he got to say his, and that was the end of it. But yeah, I still respect him as an individual. So, um, but what basically sparked the whole song was me and him had a conversation, and he said something about, well, I can't guarantee anything for you. And that's why I wrote the line, you say that it's only me, but you tell me there's no guarantees. It's a really good song lyric. Let me try and go take this sad piece of my life and make it into something fun, something relatable, something I can talk to my listeners about. Because I know I'm not the only one who goes through these long-winded situationships. So why not, use it for my benefit? The greatest things come from pain. So take advantage of it, I guess.
As an artist, I'm sure you probably get a lot of DMs. I'm sure you probably get a lot of people that try to hit you up and try to ask you
In
out.
what way? In what way? Like
Well,
as in like business way or like
you are a very attractive woman.
thank
So
you.
being an artist, as being somebody in the industry, how do you maintain on a business level the motive? You know what? I'm not gonna date. I'm gonna date, but everything has to be business and keep things in perspective.
To keep everything separate is just to really prioritize what you want in your life. I know that there's probably like a few sessions or like, performances where I have the possibility of working with someone or the possibility of getting to know them. And it just depends on, what me and that person want. But in reality, like what comes first is my music. My career does come first. So I don't want to do anything that can jeopardize potential relationships business wise, and potential like friendships that come from the business endeavors that I do have. But yeah, it's just prioritizing and just like yeah, prioritize as an individual. I think that's the biggest thing that I've realized throughout the years of doing this thing, and just like professionalism is a really big thing, and like in the long run, you have to choose what you want. Because right now it's a fun time. Okay, great. But then what happens if that doesn't work out? Where does that go? You know what I mean?
For sure. I mean, I guess the real question is how do you find the balance? But I guess you answered that.
Balancing is just really like which one holds more of a spot in your life, I guess, Because I know at the end of the day, I'm gonna want to do music for the rest of my life. So I will ask you, do you want to make music with me, or do you want to see where this goes? And then they have to choose one or the other. I don't let them have both. That's not fair to me, and that's not fair to them. So
We were talking earlier. You're part Filipino, of course. You are from a place in the Philippines. I'm sure you can probably tell me where that is again.
yes, I'm from Olongapo City. Shout out to Olongapo. That's where I was born. That's where my family is currently living in. I mean, we're all over the Philippines, but that's where the majority of my mom's side of the family lives. I came here when I was one, so I'm basically like I like to say I'm Canadian, you know, because a lot of people are shocked when I tell them I'm not born in Canada because they're just like you don't have an accent, and I'm just like, well, I wasn't raised in the Philippines. Like, what do you mean? Like, obviously, I'm not gonna have an accent. Yeah, it's a big shocker that people think that I was born here, but I just don't know.
Which leads us to my next question. Obviously, you're born in the Philippines. You're now living in Mississauga. What has the transition been like for you? Have you gone back to the Philippines? I mean, is there anything that you miss about the Philippines? And what's it like in Canada?
It's right now. It's really pretty. We're transitioning from spring to summer. We're just getting double digits consistently now. So it's really cool being able to have not just summer all the time and not just winter all the time. So I think it's that's I hate slushy snow though. That is the worst part of winter. Hate it. But I actually didn't have the chance to transition. Well, a transition that I can remember. So I came here when I was one. So I went to school here. We moved a couple of times around here in Mississauga. It's more of my siblings who had to do more of the transitioning. But it's been really fun. You know, I feel like if I didn't live in this city, I'd be a completely different person, 100%. I don't think music would have been my career goal or anything. I truly do believe that it was for a reason for my family and my parents for decide to move here. And I don't know what the reasoning is for, but I do believe that it was part of God's plan for me to be living here and to experience and to grow into this cool R&B singer and like being able to fulfill the dreams that I've been dreaming since I was a kid. But what I do miss the most is like my family. I do really miss my family in the Philippines. I think that's the thing that makes me sad sometimes, where it's like they're not just in arm's reach. And I get kind of jealous, you know, having friends here and they're just like, I'm gonna go see my cousins, and I can't do that. Not being able to share like this life with them, it just what can I do, right?
I mean, for somebody who's never been to the Philippines and well, for somebody who's never been to Canada since you're in Canada now, what's one of your favorite things to do? I mean, if I were to come to Canada, or if anybody were to come to Canada, what's one spot that I'd have to go to?
As in like food, you have to tell me like what like food or like the club or like what would you want to do here in Toronto?
I'd say like what's one of the favorite attractions to do in Canada? Like what's like the one spot everybody goes to in Canada?
Well, if you come to Toronto specifically, there's obviously the CN Tower. I think the CN Tower is like the main tourist attraction. And then come watch a Blue Jays game here or watch the Raptors play. I don't know if you guys want to still watch the Raptors play. But yeah, watch basketball. We have like Toronto Island, so you take a ferry from um, Toronto, and then there's an island like a couple minutes down once you take the ferry, and it's like an old like with a beach and you know some food there. You can go biking. That's really fun too. Honestly, the city of Toronto is so much more fun in the summer. The summer, I don't know what it is in our air. I don't know what it is in the sun or something, but we just have the best time in the summertime. Like we have Caravana here. I know a lot of Americans come just for that. And then we have like really cool events happening in the summertime outdoors. And, you know, patios is always a good time. We have outdoor theater here, outdoor movie theaters, which is so much fun. just really, really, we have CNE. We have like our own carnival as well here at towards the end of the summer. There's just so many things to do, but I do recommend you coming in the summer. Unless you come in the winter, then go skiing. That's pretty much it. I think you'd have a good time. I don't know, Toronto, the energy in the city during the summer is just crazy. Like this summer, I know there's a few festivals happening. I'm in one. I'm in North by Northeast. So come come explore Toronto. It's really cool. We have a lot of cool food spots because we are so cultural here. And it's really cool being able to be surrounded by so many different cultures, and that comes with different festivals for them to celebrate them and different food spots that you could try. And I realized that like I went to New York and there's not much. Maybe I just wasn't looking hard enough, but I feel like there's more food spots in Toronto than New York. Do not be upset at me. Just saying, just laying out facts.
So as I mentioned before, I've been hearing quite a bit of your tracks. Love your music. I know Mixed Signals was released in March of 2021. I know Problematic was released in July of 2021. So let's talk about both of those songs.
Oh my goodness, those old songs. Well, Mixed Signals, yeah, I don't know. Mixed Signals was just a really like I was ready to how can I say this? So before I dropped Mixed Signals, I actually had other music out on platforms. But it wasn't who I wanted to be as an R&B singer anymore. I felt like it was very safe. I felt like my music before was very adolescent, and I wanted to move on and I wanted to grow up. And I started music when I was like 18, and I think when I dropped Mixed Signals, I was 21. So I was like, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to rebrand. I'm ready to show people that I'm actually grown. So I dropped Mixed Signals. I think that was the first time that I felt like I was like, let me swear. Why can't I swear? I also released a cool music video. It felt like a movie. I don't know if you've seen it, but the music video was me killing someone. Just for the dramatics, so I promise I would never, ever, ever, ever. But yeah, Mixing was dropped. It was cool. Don't even remember why I wrote the song. I forgot. I think I was just, I was in my feelings. I was like, I'm tired of getting played, so let me write a song like this. So I wrote that song. My friend DJ produced it. Very blessed to work with him. He's actually my guitarist, but the song that really changed my career was Problematic. Problematic was a crazy song that I showed a bunch of industry people. It was during the time that Clubhouse was a thing. So I was blessed to make friends within the industry because of Clubhouse. So shout out to Clubhouse. I wish you guys weren't watered down, but it was a really cool blessing at that time because only people who got invites were able to come in, and obviously, like we had big stars there. Like I was able to talk to Kid Honey on that app. Like I'm still friends with a couple of these industry people, and they've heard Problematic. And before I dropped it, I made sure that it was a good song, and it was a really good song, according to them. Um, and I dropped it, and it was the first time I got a Spotify editorial playlist, which was the R&B Fresh Finds playlist on Spotify. And then R&B Radar picked it up, and now R&B Radar just like supports me regardless. Very blessed for that. And then other R&B blogs started to pick it up as well. And I think that was the start of everything. Like it was the start of the fire in me to keep going. And I was already passionate, but having something like that, like the validation of doing music came from that song. So I think it really pushed me to be a better artist with every rollout that I put out there, and like every song that I put out there, I want to make sure that I put 110% into it, to all the visuals, to all the sounds, and to all the mixing. Like I want to make sure that everything is perfect because I do want to uphold a type of quality that I felt like Problematic brought to my music. So that's why like my rollouts are a little bit, they're a lot sometimes, but I do believe that creating a story is really important as an artist. So It was really cool jumping from mixed signals to problematic because I do believe that they correlated. Yeah, it was just maybe a really angry year for me, I guess. Yeah, it was when I had red hair. I think I was in a different space in my life. But now I have purple hair, and I think I've healed a little bit more from that year.
I know a lot of your music has been based upon relationships, heartbreak, reality checks. What is it about, I guess, relationships to you that have drawn such, you know, creativity behind a lot of your music and stuff that you've written?
The pain, the heartbreak, the disappointment, that's the thing that I feel like fuels my writing. Who said it? I think Kaylani tweeted this, or someone tweeted it, where it was just art comes from pain. And that's why the reason why art is such a big deal and why should be loved and adored is because it's a way that people can release their own feelings through someone else. And that's why we love music so much and why people can listen to it over and over again and sing it with the top of their lungs and all of their heart is because they relate. And that's the beautiful thing about being able to make music is because I know the things that I go through. I'm not the only one who has gone through it. I know that there's people who've gone through these shitty ass like relationships, situationships, whatever you want to call it, bad breakups, and really disappointing individuals have come into our lives and broken our hearts over and over and over. And that only comes from personal experience, right? Specific songs, they induce that feeling for people. What's a good song that I see everyone sing all the time? Keisha Cole, Love. That song will make a whole stadium, 10,000 people sing together as if we're one big family. And it's just because people can relate. People can really feel all of those lyrics. And that's the beautiful thing about music. Bring people together.
Well, tell us right now. I mean, are you dating anybody? You seen anybody? I mean, what type of guy would be ideal for you? I mean, I know you've been in
Never been
relationships.
asked this question before. I've never been asked this question. I just want you to know I've never been asked this question before. I am single. Yes, I am single, and I feel like I'm just very focused on my career right now. I'm very goal orientated. Um, and if something were to pop off right now, like it has to be a specific type of person where they can meet me where I'm at, like goal orientated, career driven, and just like being able to meet in the middle and just yeah, like there's a lot of things I could provide for myself, and I'm really grateful for that. And like I would never turn down if someone were to help me out with things, but like I'm not really like, oh, I need this from you, I need that. Because I can provide it. Like I want to be with someone who can provide me things that I can't provide myself. You know, kind of like give me something new. Go handle your business. I'm in no rush to be in a relationship right now. I realize that I do really want to fulfill like whatever I'm doing right now because I actually don't have much time, but I do try to make time for things that I do want. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
You talk about, the kind of like the growth and the development of everything that you've been able to do in your career.
Yeah.
When was your realization that you wanted to pursue a career in music? And I know we were talking earlier about your start of your career. Um, do you ever have any other career goals in mind before pursuing a career in the music industry?
I went to school for nursing. I'm a nurse right now. I'm a practicing nurse here in the province of Ontario. I did want to be a nurse, and I still love being a nurse. I'm really blessed to have this career and also pursue music. Also, happy Nursing Week to all of the nurses there everywhere. Thank you guys for all your hard work. But yeah, I was doing nursing. Obviously, I come from a Filipino household. My parents wanted me to go to school, respected their wishes, but I also wanted to go to school. And I think like the first time that music actually felt like it was meant for me was I was doing I was always doing music throughout my whole entire life, but it wasn't my own music. I was singing covers and local shows and everything. I had a passion for performing. So I performed at one of these open mics, and this artist named Zane Campbell was there, and he and I connected. He messaged me on Facebook and said, "Hey, I have an album coming out. Would you be able to drop some vocals on it?" And I was like, yeah, I can, but I've never recorded before. And he's just like, it's okay. We'll get you like, warmed up. We'll get you ready for recording and everything. And I said, cool. So I went and I met my producer, Tom Pauls. Paul Tonks. Sorry. I say his like his Instagram handle. That's why. But I met Paul Tonks was one of the reasons why music ended up even being a thing for me. I went to the studio, recorded in the mic, and I said, whoa, I don't want to stop recording like ever. I love this shit. Like, and when he said, okay, yeah, you're done. And I said, can we like do another layer or something? Like, I didn't want to leave the booth. And he saw me and he said, I'm going to send you some instrumentals and I'm going to give you a free session and I want you to do a demo. And I said, what? And he said, yes, I want you to do that because I really do believe you have potential to do this. And I said, okay. So I wrote a song, replayed the instrumental that I loved in my car over and over and over again. And came out with a song called Roses. It's actually still out on SoundCloud if you do want to listen to it. But it's called Roses, and it's one of my oldest songs. My first song ever released on February 14th, 2019. And that song came out. It had good response for something that was my first single ever. It like reached like 1,000 plays in like a week, 2 weeks or something like that. And I was like, what the heck? So I kept going and going, and then I released another song called No Love. And this was the time that I felt like this was actually meant for me because I actually had a conversation with God. And I said, okay, cool, the song is out, and it got on the radio on a local radio station here, which is kind of a big deal. It was Flow 93.5, and it was on rotation for a couple weeks. And I went to church one day. And I was just like, thank you for everything, God. But if you keep my radio on for another couple weeks, I will still do this music thing. 2 weeks later, I get a text message from my friend who was at the carnival, actually at CNE around August time. And she was just like, your song's playing right now at this carnival. And I said, what? They're just like, yeah, we hear you on the radio. And I was like, what the fuck? So I was just like, okay, all right, don't worry, I will keep doing this. And I think that was the thing that made me go, okay, maybe this is my purpose and I should really fulfill it. Yeah, I'm really grateful for that because it's got me so far since then. Although everything's happening slowly. Well, some people will say it's not happening slowly, but in my brain, obviously, I feel like everything's happening slowly. But from the outside, I know a lot of people are very proud of me. They've given me my flowers and they said, you're doing such a great job. I was doing this for 4 years by myself with the help of my best friend for creative direction. And I finally got a manager. My manager, Simon, is an amazing individual. He's so selfless, but I was doing this and I built my name basically by myself with my best friend. And it's just been really fun. It's been really, really fun since then.
Being an artist, what have been some of the challenges? What has been some of the adversities that you've had to overcome to get you to the place that you're at right now?
Hearing a lot of no's. I feel like hearing a lot of no's, it creates character. And in those situations, when you hear no's, it actually depends on you and how you're going to take that no. Are you going to take it personal or are you going to take it as, all right, what can I do to be better? Some of the no's that I've gotten have become yeses recently, so it's just crazy. But I feel like, rejection is a really big thing, a key thing to an artist's career. The biggest no that I've ever gotten was from Justice from Love Renaissance. So during the pandemic, Justice was doing like a live talent show, basically being able to showcase your work or sing for him. And at this time, I didn't really have good music, and I knew in my heart it wasn't good music, and I already knew I wasn't proud of it. But I joined the live thinking that he wasn't going to choose me. He chose me. I don't know why he chose me, but I already knew I wasn't ready. So I got to play some of my songs for him. I got booed off by him and the crowd. But he was very nice about it because he was like, "Oh, at least you're very nice. Thank you for being nice and understanding for everything." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess I don't know. Am I supposed to like lash out? Like I don't know." But I got booed off, and I know some of the comments said, "Well, at least she's pretty." And I went, I cried that night. Not gonna lie, I really cried that night. But I realized I almost quit that night too. Oh my goodness, I remember I almost quit, and I was about to tell my friends I'm done with music. I can't do it. But there was also a part of me that was saying, "Why you're gonna be guilty for quitting?" The time that I wrote Problematic after all of that happened, and we released Problematic, and here we are. So I really do believe that no was a blessing in disguise because it really made me the hard worker that I am right now, with the work ethic that I have right now, and like, the passion that I have right now really came from that situation. So hopefully one day I get to be in the same room with him and I tell him what happened and I could just say thank you for that because it really was something that I needed at the time. I really needed a reality check at that time. Because obviously I was running off of this high of like, oh, I was on the radio, I got to do all these shows and people liked me and didn't matter. It didn't matter. And I really needed that. So yeah, I think rejection is a beautiful thing, and I don't think that us artists should take it to heart because we also have to remember that music is very subjective and that people take an art differently than the next person. Like for me, for example, I'm not going to reach and play a country song because it's just not my vibe. I love country, some country songs, but it's not the first thing that I go for. Yeah, us artists just take rejection lightly and remember that music is subjective.
In music, what do you enjoy about it the most? And do you have any inspirations?
The thing I love about music is that it is my own thing. You can't tell me what I can and can't write. And if you get your feelings hurt, what if that song isn't even about you? Like when the shoe fits, maybe you should reevaluate yourself because you're not going to tell me what I can and can't write in my song. You know what I mean? But I realized that like it is my own thing and I get to explore the sounds that I want and explore the writing styles that I want. And I think it's helped me open up as an individual. I'm not really good at talking about my emotions, but I feel like music has helped me with that a little bit more. And some of the inspirations that inspire me to songwrite the way that I do is like Kehlani, Jasmine Sullivan, Janae Aiko, Summer Walker. Yeah, I respect them a lot as songwriters because they say whatever they want. And I want to be that. Every time I write, it's just like, how can I be more honest this time? How can I really tell people how I feel? And, I don't care if I hurt other people's feelings. It's really just trying to stay true to myself and not to hide so much of what I want to say, just so I can spare other people's feelings. Like, I don't want to do that anymore.
When I listen to your music, I get somewhat of like a SZA, Kehlani, Summer Walker vibe.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you. That means a lot, actually. People tell me that I always very I get very shy when people say that because like I don't hear that for myself. But it's a cool blessing that I can get compared to them.
With all the success that you've been having in your career, what is something that you wish you would have known when you first started out in your career?
This is gonna be hard work. Everything is hard work. Sometimes I feel like I overwork myself a lot to make everything work. Even my manager and we fight sometimes because I am full-time nursing and also full-time being an artist. So sometimes he fights with me and she's like, can you just like relax for a bit and like just like rest? And I'm like, there's so many deadlines we have to meet. I don't know how to do that. And he's like, I understand. And like that's why I love my manager. Like he always reminds me to like take the break and like, like tries to take things off of my plate to help me out and stuff. And like he's a very selfless individual. But yeah, that's probably the first thing. And to just be patient. Everything, all my hard work, I know it's working out for me. And I know it's really hard to see results because it's not happening at the fast pace that everyone likes to showcase online. But I know it's working. I know it's working. And everything is just due to timing. And like, my time will come. and I know that. But yeah, I know that I was a really eager beginner R&B singer when I first started, and I know that I was really upset at myself for a couple of months for not being able to fulfill maybe the numbers that I wanted or the playlist that I wanted or the shows that I wanted. But I know that that's all gonna come in time because the things that I've already aimed for, but all of like the plans that I wanted to happen is happening now. So yeah, I think I wish I could hug my 19-year-old self and just be like, relax, you're gonna do fine. You're doing just fine.
What's happening current right now in your career? I know you just released Tell Me. What are you presently working on right now? What are some of the future goals? And what should we be looking out for in the near future from you?
So I'm working on my project, which will be hopefully coming out later this year. With everything going right now, like I think it's gonna happen, but I don't want to make any promises yet. But I'm also releasing a couple features this year, so I'm really excited for that. The feature that I know for sure is coming out is Forbidden Fruit that me and my friend Tristan we wrote together, featured on it, and I'm super excited because it's a really cool, good song. But yeah, like I'm part of the North by Northeast festival this year happening here in Toronto. I also have a big show that's coming up in July, and another show that's happening here in the city of Toronto, hopefully in July or August. But yeah, I'm just really blessed to have my summer already booked up. Yeah, it's just really cool. The year is gonna be really cool.
As far as this project that you're talking about, what can we expect off of the project? Have you thought about a name for it yet? Is it an EP album?
My first EP that I'm releasing, a lot of my heartbreaks, and I felt like it was time to be transparent with everybody. I can't tell you the name yet. I'll tell you the name closer to the date. But it's really me being vulnerable and just being honest about the emotions that I feel. Yeah, because what's mine is mine, and I get to say what I want, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Since you are an R&B soul artist, what is the one instrument that you would like to learn how to play?
Problematic actually was me on the guitar. Yeah, so I play guitar. Not like I'm not super sick. I know like a couple chords and maybe bar a few here and there, but the one instrument that I wish I knew how to play was piano. Piano, like I've always wanted to do that when I was a kid, but I wasn't able to get lessons. But seeing people play piano and like classically be trained, like my pianist, Matt, oh my God, he is insane. He is insane. And I don't know, being able to work with such cool musicians, one thing I'm also learning is how to play drums. So when I'm at rehearsals, like I always tell my drummer to move for a second. Let me hit something. And yeah, like maybe piano and drums are the main things that I would love to learn how to play.
As far as your career and stuff, but if you had any future collaborations,
Kehlani is my only answer right now since I was in high school. My friend actually got me a vinyl of their first mixtape. If I were to ever get a feature with Kehlani, no one can tell me anything. Cool, I have Grammys, cool. I have a Juno, I have other awards, cool. I have a Kehlani feature, yeah. Don't tell me about anything in my life. It's just because like I idolize her so much as an artist, and I think like that's probably the moment that I'd be like, dang, I made it. I made it. My favorite song of all time from her. I don't even have one. Damn. It's the one with Lucky Day. Can You Blame Me? Oh, that song is so good. I listen to it all the time. Favorite album from her though is definitely It Was Good Until It Wasn't. I think that was her best work, but even her new album is also really cool, and I think it's a different side of her. And I can't wait to get to that part of my career where it's just like, oh, I can finally like experiment on sounds and everything. But yeah, it was a softer side of Kehlani.
while this is on the top of my head, I wanted to ask you this question. If your career wasn't in, you know, nursing, I mean, obviously, I'm sure it probably would have been in music, but let's just say if it wasn't in music or was it in nursing, did you ever have any other career goals in mind or something that you might have wanted to pursue?
I actually never thought of that. Okay, if I wasn't the musician, I would love to be like maybe an A&R or a manager. I do believe I know it's in the music thing, but I do believe that I have a really cool ear figuring out what sounds good and like cool to new talent and stuff and like seeing potential in people. But I think if we're gonna go like more of the domestic route, I would go for maybe being a teacher. I love kids and I love teaching, so I think that would be a really cool career for me.
Any memorable experiences, anything that sticks out to you the most in your career?
You know what's so crazy about that is just like I know that I have something. It's just I probably was just like so on go, go, go that I don't even remember it. What is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me in my career? Probably when R&B Radar picked me up. I think that was the coolest thing that I can remember right now. I'm just so on go, go, go and like what's next type of mindset. Like I don't think I've ever sat down and really took in like the things I've done. You know what I mean? So I guess right now is getting my first editorial. I think that's also a big deal too. I think my first Spotify editorial playlist, I cried. I remember crying to my mom. I'm just like, Mom, I really like where my songs are right now. Probably the biggest thing that I can remember right now.
Well, in your career, who are you mostly thankful for?
In my career, there's so many people to be thankful for. There's not just one person because the name Geneva Lei cannot be Geneva Lei without the teams that I was able to work with and like being able to have like my manager Simon is amazing. Being having my best friend being like creative direction for me for a couple of years, Katie. She's helped me out so much with trying to figure out what my branding is. Yeah, there's just so many people I could thank. Like the video I just shot was shot by Rye Ones. The photos that I had were by him too, and also like my press photos were done by Kevin. Dang, Mamek, Slim, PK. There's so many people that I can like just name because I always tell them, and when I have like big speeches at my parties and my release parties and things, I and like my photo shoots even, I say thank you so much for helping me out with this because I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself. And I mean every single word. Having a good team is what makes you look like a good artist. Oh, that's another advice that I would give to people. Have a good team and be grateful for them. I have to thank Mel. Mel, she got this whole purple thing going on for me. So grateful for that as well.
Geneva Lei, all the way in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. Just want to say it's a pleasure to interview you. I want nothing but the best for you in your career. Make sure you guys check out her new single, Tell Me, which is out on all social media platforms, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it a lot.